Greetings, redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. Of course, I am your gracious host, the one, the only J Red, checking in. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Just making sure that we checking in right now. It is Wednesday, of course. Happy Hump Day to everybody. Hopefully, you're having a very productive week. It's the midweek. Hold on, we almost to Friday, and we'll enjoy the weekend. But yeah, like we do it, we're gonna have a great discussion, great topics we're gonna talk about today. Do me a favor right now, if you're watching, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you are not, you are slipping, you are tripping. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com/ResView is going across your screen right now. The channel keeps growing and growing and growing, and we want more viewers, more subscribers. So make sure that you do that. And how we help out the show, you hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the chat group, hit the super chat if you're feeling generous and want to spread some of that wealth that y'all got out there. So y'all some ballers, man. Hey man, share the wealth with me, even if it's $1. Hit me up in the super chat, and like I said, hit me up in the chat group so we can post what you're talking about, and we'll have an engaging conversation. Make sure that you follow me on all social media platforms at JAYR3D. And before I begin, man, my TikTok got hacked. Man, last Friday. I was pissed, upset, but I'll give you all that info a little later, man. But we got a lot to talk about, man. And like I said, make sure, if you have not already, subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com/ResView. And then let me know in the chat who is here. Hit the share button if you're on Facebook. Hit the share button right now so we can get more people to interact with us today. All right. So the first topic we're going to talk about today. Did y'all see the clip of Keri Hilson? Miss Keri, baby. Man, when I see Keri Hilson, when I saw her on the Breakfast Club, I didn't watch the full interview. I just watched the clip of when she was talking about the Beyonce thing. But when I saw her, it took me back to 2009, 2008 when she was blowing up and stuff like that. And I got to say, that is the finest R&B singer that's out. She was fine back then, and she's fine now. Keri Hilson is a certified 10. All right. Let's get that out. She's a certified 10 in the face. All right. Keri Hilson is bad. That is like one of the most prettiest women in the music industry. I'm trying to see who looks better than her. But anyway, besides that, all right, let's talk about what happened. So back in 2009, Keri Hilson was on top of the world. She had put out different records. She was on Polo Don. Was she on his label? Yeah, I think she was on his label. Zone 4. She was on when I first heard of Keri Hilson, she was on the Rich Boy record. Shout out to Mobile, Alabama, Rich Boy. She was on that You Will Always Be, You Will Always Be. I forgot what that song was. But she was on there, and then she started doing her solo stuff. She was a writer, wrote some big hits and everything like that. But then it was one song that changed her career forever. One song that derailed her career. And that song was the Turning Me On remix. Not even the original song, the Turning Me On remix. All right. And that song has been in my head all day as I saw her talk about this. But she revealed that she was forced to diss Beyonce on that song. Now, if you remember on the Turning Me On remix that was getting heavy radio play, had T-Pain and other people on there, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I wasn't really a huge fan of the song Turning Me On like that. They just used to play it on the radio excessively, so much to where you couldn't help but know, you're turning me on, you're turning me on. Like, they used to play that record nonstop. I was in college at the time, and I remember I was lifeguarding, and I was working at the YMCA, and I just used to have the record playing because nobody was drowning over there. But I ain't have to save nobody, so I was just chilling and listen to the radio, and that song used to come on all the time on my work shifts. So anyway, so Miss Fine Keri Hilson appeared on the Breakfast Club, and she revealed that she was forced to diss Beyonce. Now, let me share my screen with you and show you what Miss Keri said about how that came to play. So Keri Hilson, she says she regrets Beyonce diss track, claims she was forced to record it to get her album released. Okay. The song's co-writer, Esther Dean, has since apologized for the lyrics, which she says didn't age well. Well, of course it didn't. All right. So she said that it's a regret. but not in the way people would think, because that's a song I actually didn't write. Those are not my words. Hilson then divulged how the song came to be. And she said at that point in her career, she was building up to the release of her debut album, In a Perfect World. I remember when that album came out. While signing Interscope under producers Polo LaDon and Timbaland. According to Hilson, Polo was adamant about getting a remix recorded, leading her to take days off from touring with Lil Wayne, returned to the studio and pen a new verse. Instead, she was shocked to discover that Polo had lyrics from another writer already repaired. So she says this, and I would play the clip, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't want to get a copyright strike, and Breakfast Club don't play about that. So we're just going to read, okay? So she said, I come into the studio and he plays me the verse. Automatically, I was like, I'm not saying that. That was my position. So the verse that they're talking about, if you remember on the remix, she said, your vision cloudy if you think that you're the best. You can dance, she can sing, but she need to move it to the left, to the left. Of course, she's talking about Beyonce right there. She need to go have some babies. She need to sit down and she fake. I ain't turning it off. I'm stay turning it on. I think she said I stay turning on. Go ahead and tell these folks how long I've been writing your songs. So damn, so she wrote for Beyonce too. That I didn't know. I got to go back and look at that. All right. So she said, looking back on her first listen, Hilson admitted that while she understood the lyrics as shady, she didn't know who they were calling out. Still, she was opposed. She says, I'm an athlete, but I'm a finesse player. I'm not a nasty player. I'm not a dirty player. I don't even look at things like that. But we disagree there, Polo and I, because he believes in kind of the shock jock mentality. He believes I'm playing dirty, and I don't. Hilson said she rejected the verse and went back to writing her own, but was eventually pushed into recording the remix anyway. I tried to fight him on it and I began writing my own, but it was quite forceful in an executive artist way, involving others and kind of threatening my career in a real sense. Now let me say this, kind of threatening the career. She lost the career anyway, but let's keep going. She explained my album wasn't out yet, so it was like, you're not coming out if you don't do this. The mistake that I made was not continuing to fight, but I was in tears, I was crying, I was adamant that I did not want to do that. Hilson said she was ultimately told that if she recorded the verse she was given, she could also write her own, and a final decision will be made once the two versions were compared. I was super young. I felt I had no power. I felt I had no choice, though she did pen and record her own verse. The original version of the remix leaked days later. Hilson claimed that the leak was all a part of Polo's plan. That was what he wanted to happen. So in the aftermath, Hilson was met with a wave of backlash as critics and fans speculated about the song's true meaning, assuming she was taking shots at several stars, including Beyonce and Sierra. And I know she wrote from Sierra, by the way. That was that. And I protected him. I protected the girl that wrote it, which was Esther Dean, and who went on to become famous. I protected everyone in the story, so I have to eat that, and I'm still eating it to this day. It's like I've worn the scarlet letter. Okay. Um, so what does it say? Following Hilson's appearance on the show, singer pitch, perfect alum. Okay, so she came forward. So Esther Dean came forward as a co-writer of the remix, commenting it was a hit. Hours later, she offered a longer statement, including, I didn't even know this, okay, including an apology for the lyrics. She said, I submitted a lot of verses for that remix. One got picked, and it was co-written with Keri. Looking back, it was childish and didn't age well. I see how it hurt people, especially women, and I take full accountability. I'm sorry for my part in it. Growth is real, and so is this apology. Okay. Okay, so we see what happened with the whole Keri Hilson thing. That's messed up. Some people were saying that she was capping about this situation. But Esther Dean, I'm glad that Esther Dean came out. I didn't see that. I didn't see when Esther Dean came out and said anything about that. So I'm very glad that Esther Dean took accountability and responsibility for that. It was co-written, but excuse me, it shows that Keri wasn't capping about that. It shows that Keri told the truth. And it's messed up that it derailed her career. Now, the thing is this, I know she was on the rise and everything like that. I wonder, and I'm gonna ask people, and you can comment in the comment section, what do you think about it? Do you think that had that not happened, I think that Keri would have been definitely bigger than what she was or what she is now. I also think that there was some pretty privileged jealousy going on, some pretty privileged jealousy. When I say that, Keri Hilson is a beautiful, talented woman. All right. So I'm quite sure the Beehive and everybody at that time was looking at, who is this woman? Who does she think she is? Does she think that she's better than everybody? How dare she say this about Beyonce? So it could have been a jealousy thing too, because she was fine, she was beautiful. And here's this woman who's coming up dissing the queen. And you got to remember, man, Beyonce's fan base at that time was big. Was that around the single ladies time? Or maybe before that, but I do know that Beyonce was the queen at that time. When she put out B-Day, it took her to that next level. And I know for sure when she put out Single Ladies, that took her to, like, come on. Wasn't that on the Sasha Fierce album? I can't remember, but yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad that happened and she was forced to do that. At first, I was like, you saying that with so much aggression, and you're just like, how are you forced to do that? You know what I'm saying? But after, I'm glad Esther Dean spoke up, and it was unfortunate. I just can't see. It was just weird. Like Polo the Don wanted her to diss Beyonce so bad. I guess at that time it was, like it is now. It's about clout chasing. But I don't understand what they thought would happen. Why did they think that dissing Beyonce would get her more glory? See, R&B singers ain't supposed to beef. Singers ain't supposed to beef like that, because R&B is about love making, and it's about love, and it's about uplifting. Now you got, of course, breakup songs, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of R&B songs are about love. You know what I'm saying? Compassion and different things like that. And R&B, like rappers dissing each other, that's a part of hip hop culture. But R&B, you don't put out diss R&B songs. You don't put out diss R&B records. You know what I'm saying? So, it's unfortunate that did happen for Keri Hilson. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm upset that happened to her. A lot of people thought that she was just on her pretty girl rock thing and went on to do whatever she was doing, and that derailed her career. They thought that she was being on some cocky stuff. That's what I thought too. But that was a very wrong move, and I don't understand why Polo the Don made her do that, what they expected the outcome was going to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's very unfortunate for that. So let me know in the comment section what y'all think about Keri Hilson being forced to diss Beyonce. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. And from my understanding, she has an album that's coming out. So shout out to Keri Hilson for that. Now let's move on to this. Let's talk about, of course, the controversy continues. The beef continues. It just keeps going. So last summer, Drake and Kendrick battled it out. Spring, summer, I want to say. Kendrick won. But of course, it has been an ongoing back and forth with the fan base. Okay. Ongoing controversy, subliminals to each other. And you would think that they moved on, but I've just came to the conclusion that I'll be making Kendrick Lamar and Drake videos for the next 10 years. Because anything that they do, whether it's an album, whether it's a tour, magazine article, song, whatever, thank you for that like, by the way, whatever they do is going to be compared to each other. Kendrick puts out an album is going to be compared to Drake, and vice versa. So that's just the unfortunate thing about it. So yes, there's more than likely going to be a video every week or every other week talking about Kendrick and Drake. So my redheads, you just got to deal with this. So anyway, this is the ongoing debate that's on Twitter right now. Will Drake dethrone Kendrick and SZA on the charts? Now, for those who are not aware, Kendrick Lamar and SZA, their song Luther, has been on the top of the charts, #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks now. For 8 weeks. Or is it going on 8 weeks? It's either I know it's at 7. It's predicted to be at 8 weeks again, or something like that. Nokia is #3 in the country right now. And it's seen a significant increase since Drake put out that lame video for Nokia. Now, the thing is, a lot of people are looking at, will Drake dethrone Kendrick? Will Nokia go #1? Because a lot of Drake fans feel like once Drake goes #1, oh, he won. He won. He didn't fall off. It's not the dot era like people say that it is. Kendrick ain't dominant like that he claims that he is. Kendrick got bots, all this other stuff. And they feel like once he dethrones him, see, in the psyche of Drake's fans, he needs his get back. And the get back will be if Drake can dethrone K Dot and SZA. Really just K Dot. So the thing is, as it's rising, you would have think that it went number one by now. And the crazy thing is, for him to get his clout back, he has to dethrone a song that has been out since November. That song has been out since November. Now, it saw a crazy rise. I think it debuted at number 3 on the charts, and then it saw a crazy rise once the Super Bowl happened because Kendrick and SZA performed at the Super Bowl. So y'all let me know, does Nokia have enough stamina and power to dethrone Luther? Now, this is the thing about Luther. Luther is a phenomenal song. It's a great song, great love song. And it's Kendrick's wave right now. It's Kendrick's wave, plus him and SZA are about to go on tour. So it's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful time. Shout out to Crown, shout out to Maya. You said I wouldn't care if the track got number one. It would just disprove the case he was previously trying to make in court. Facts, facts, Maya. Because the whole thing is, oh, it damaged my career, which it did, right? But to me, this is what it is. His fans are making that record pop and go number one. Now, of course, it's a dope song. Nokia is a dope song, right? To me, I mean, I don't play it like that, but you know, when it comes on, I ain't gonna turn it off. But to me, it's just a regular Drake song. I'm surprised it got this big, to be honest. But what I've been seeing on Twitter is that the fans of Drake have been continuously streaming this song. Like they have group chats, they have private groups to where they're talking about, you get compensated for streaming Drake's music right now. I don't know if y'all know that, but you can get compensated for streaming Drake's stuff right now. That album with Party Next Door, they had a whole streaming farm thing going on to where the fans, they're saying through some program you could get paid. I forgot what it's called, but you could get paid for streaming Drake's music. I've seen it, the leaks on Twitter and all this other stuff. So I got a question to the Aubrey's Angels. If it does go number one, shout out to him if it does. But if it does, the day that it does go number one, what does that actually prove? Does that prove that Drake is the hit maker that y'all say that he is, or that y'all just came together to make sure it goes number one? I saw some posts today talking about some, yeah, let's keep streaming, let's keep streaming. That's not really a win for y'all to come collectively just to keep streaming the record for it to climb the charts. That's not a win. A win is if the whole world is vibing to the song and it's just a good song. Then my thing is, why are y'all trying to compare if Drake is the bigger artist anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like if Drake is, Nokia should just be that Nokia thing, but I understand why, because Drake made it about Kendrick. In that video, if you haven't seen it already, that's just a knockoff Kendrick Lamar video. He tried to mock Kendrick's Not Like Us video as well as the Super Bowl performance. But to me, it just doesn't justify anything because, I mean, well, it does justify that Drake is still a hit maker. And I never said that he would stop being able to make hits. I just think that his career won't be as big as it was. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he gets a number one record. The ironic thing is this song is off the Party Next Door collab album. How come no songs with Party Next Door became hits off of that album? How come no songs with Party Next Door became a hit record off of that album? It's a Party Next Door and Drake album. So that goes with my theory that Drake put out that album to disguise it as a collab album because he wanted to test the waters. The two songs that everybody talk about is Give Me a Hug, Drake solo song, and it's a rap song, and Nokia, which is a Drake song, solo song, and it's a rap song. Nobody talks about none of them other tracks with Party Next Door, none of that stuff, right? So my thing is, it's not really justifying the situation. You know, I know that a lot of people are just, oh yeah, Drake, you know, Kendrick fell off. Let me tell you something. It's about to get real spicy right now because Kendrick is about to go on tour with SZA starting next week. And I will be at the show here in Atlanta. If anybody's going to be in Atlanta at the April 29th show on that Tuesday, let me know. I'm gonna try to meet up with you and everything like that. But I'm gonna have fun. It's gonna be at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But when does it end? When does the battle end with Drake and Kendrick? Now they're battling on the charts. GNX was selling more after the Super Bowl than Drake and Party Next Door's album. But now Party Next Door and Drake, they've moved up. I think they're like the number 2 album in the country. But yeah, if he dethrones Drake, if Drake dethrones Luther, my thing is salute to him. But that song has been out since November. You put that song Nokia out in February. So if Aubrey's Angels, if y'all feel so happy that a song that came out months ago is being dethroned, that song came out just 2 months ago, hey man, be my guest. It is what it is. All right. So shout out to Drake, but I don't really think too much of it, but it is a win. I will say that it is a win, and this is a perfect segue into Drake's next album. I think that this is good promo because that's what he wanted. This album with Party Next Door was just to test the waters and see if Drake is still hot. That's what he did all last year. Notice after that battle had happened, immediately he did the song with Sexy Red, that flop. Then after he did that song, he put out the 100 gig. Like it was some other songs that he did. Then he put out the 100 gig songs and leaked a lot of songs and everything. Drake has literally been throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. He's been throwing stuff at the wall just to see what sticks. And if it works, it works. He threw out Nokia, it worked. So now he's like, okay, bet. Now I can do my album. So we'll see what happens with that. But Drake has also been on a run because apparently he breaks the Beatles record. The Beatles record, let's see. Let me pull this up. Shout out to everybody for tapping in, by the way. All right, so it says Drake breaks the Beatles chart record and reaches historic RIAA milestone. Now, for those who are unaware, RIAA stands for Recording Industry. What is it? Recording Industry something of America. I forgot what that was. I used to know it just off my top of my head. But it says, according to chart data, the Canadian superstar has become the artist with the most cumulative weeks charting on Billboard 200, surpassing the legendary British rock band. Drake's albums have collectively spent over 3,348 weeks on the chart, a streak that dates back over a decade and a half to 2009 so far gone. The Beatles previously held the record with 3,311 weeks, while Taylor Swift has also edged the past iconic group with 3,313. Hold on, so Taylor Swift passed it too? So she passed. So all of y'all, okay, all right. The only other hip hop artist in the top 10 is Eminem with 2,423. It was also reported on Tuesday that Drake has become the first artist to surpass 500 million RIAA certified units across the albums and singles and features. So hold on, let me go back. So Taylor Swift, did she pass the Beatles too? Okay, well, anyway, salute to Drake. Shout out to Drake for doing that. He's still a rapper from hip hop culture. He didn't grow up in hip hop culture, but he's a part of hip hop culture by default. So shout out to him. Shout out to Drake for doing that. His fans have been celebratory. They're saying this isn't the dot era, this is the Drake era, and all that. Listen, man, I'll say this: nobody ever questioned how great of an artist Drake is. Whether he writes his raps or not, Drake is still a phenomenal artist. One of the greatest artists of all time. One of the greatest artists of all time definitely is Aubrey Graham. Okay. Now, is he one of the best rappers of all time? That's debatable because he doesn't write his raps. Okay. I couldn't put him in no top 10 list because he don't write his own raps. Me, I love Eazy-E, right? But he's one of my favorite rappers, but he's not in my top. I can't put him in the top hip hop list because he didn't write his own rhymes. Still dope, still legendary artist nonetheless, right? But nobody questioned that. But I've been seeing the narrative that, oh yeah, Drake, this proves that Drake is better. I'm like, listen, that's from his past catalog. He's grinded, man. He's grinded. Drake has been on a legendary historic run for so long. So of course, something like this happens. I mean, it's inevitable. If he keeps putting out music, of course he's gonna break records. The Beatles had broke up. Like, how long were the Beatles going? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm quite sure they didn't have a run from like comparable to Drake from 2009 all the way up. Now, this is also the thing. You have to accumulate the streams. I don't really like these things where people break records and all this other stuff, because I remember it was some bootleg list that came out that said that the Eagles outsold Michael Jackson as the number one. Like, it was the Eagles' greatest hits album. They rewrote history and said that due to streaming and the updated data, that the Eagles would have the number one selling album of all time. surpassing Thriller when people had to actually go to the store and buy records. So I really don't like the whole streaming thing, but for hip hop, if that's surpassing the Beatles, shout out to Drake. Okay, it is what it is. Now, speaking of Drake, I want y'all to see what happened recently at an Usher concert. I didn't know he was touring overseas until recently. So I'm gonna share my screen with you all to show you what happened. So he rejects a 16-year-old, and I'm saying speaking of Drake because that's the segue into it. But says Usher rejects a woman's request to feed her a cherry at his show at the O2 Arena in London after he initially believed she said she was 16 years old. All right, now hopefully I don't get a copyright straight, but because the music playing a little bit. So listen to this. All right, fair use, fair use. I'm just reporting the news. So Usher was walking up and looks at this young lady right here. So listen.
How old did you say you were? Did you say 16? Oh, 19. Okay. I mean, I see that you have tattoos. You might have a tattoo at the age of 16. What you talking about? I'm called Black Mom. My mom is black too.
Oh, that's what she said. I got a black mom. Okay.
You know. But are you really 19? You sure? Are you sure you're sure? All right, just to be safe, I'm not feeding you a cherry. I'm gonna let her feed you.
Smart move, Usher. Smart move. Smart move. See, and the reason I say that is because Drake did the opposite. And I hate to do this. Oh, I hate to do this to you, Aubrey. But the reason that Drake is in the situation he's in now with the whole Not Like Us thing and the certified pedophile, all that stuff, is because of footage from back like 09 or whenever he was blowing up. He had a 17-year-old girl on stage. She told him how old she was, and he proceeded to kiss on her. He was like, oh man, and then kissed on her and everything like that. Usher asked the girl how old she was. She said, even if she said I was 16, then said, no, I'm 19. He asked to be sure. She said she was 19. He didn't take no chance on it. He said, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna feed it to your friend over here, but I ain't gonna feed it to you. Smart move, because you don't want to get caught up with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, Usher, when he feeds the cherries, he does it as he serenades the women and does it like that, right? But when Drake was on that stage, and I'm just reporting the reason why we got the Not Like Us record, unless it's other stuff that I don't know about, that Kendrick knew that everybody else maybe not know. But when Drake was on stage with that girl at that concert, I know y'all seen the footage. He asked her how old she was. She said 17, and he kissed up on her. See, Usher just was going to just feed the girl the cherry. This dude Drake kissed up on her. So that's what people were saying in the comments. It was hilarious when I saw that. But I'm glad that Usher stuck with his gut and was like, just in case I ain't gonna do that, and it's funny. The reason I'm bringing up Drake also, if you look, let's read some of the comments right here. Let's read some of the comments. It says Aubrey would have been like 16, my favorite number. See, let's see. Is there another Drake one? I saw it on Instagram. See, why couldn't Drake do that? Exactly. Drake, you wouldn't have this Not Like Us stuff going on if you didn't. And I hate to compare it, but come on, man. Come on. Let's see. Is there another Drake one? Because that's the first person I thought of. I was like, come on, Drake, you should have did better. Drake can't relate. That wouldn't have stopped Drake. See, it says C Labry. It's not that hard. They called him Labry. That's hilarious. But yeah, man. Shout out to Usher for doing the best judgment that he could and saying, nah, I ain't doing that. All right. So in other news, Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, is testifying against Diddy in court. Now, Diddy has been in the jail for how long has Diddy been in jail, y'all? Diddy has been locked up. Did he get locked up the year? Has it been a year yet? I forgot when he got locked up and couldn't get bail. It's been so long. Between him and Young Thug, it's hard to keep up with a lot of rappers who be going in and out of jail. But anyway, Cassie will be testifying against Diddy in court. Oh yeah, in the sex trafficking thing that's going on, Cassie will be testifying. So it says, Cassie Ventura to testify against Sean Diddy Combs using her name in sex trafficking trial. Hold on, I hate these ads. These ads begin. Come on, man. All right, so it says prosecutors say that victim one will be taking the stand in the disgraced music mogul trial. He has been accused in the suits of drugging and R-ing both men and women. Is that true? I didn't see the R word up in there. All right. It says Combs has denied wrongdoing, pleaded not guilty in the criminal case. Um, and it says that in January, Rolling Stone identified victim one as Ventura. Combs, 55, also faces charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation of gays and prostitution. His trial will begin on May 5th. That's Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so that's coming up. She is prepared to testify under her own name. Victim 2, victim 3, and victim 4 have asked that their identities not be revealed to the press public. Additionally, prosecutors requested that the anonymous victims be referred to at trial using only how do you say that word? I forgot. I forgot how to say that word. Um, but this case has already received an exceptional amount of media coverage and will presumably only increase as trials proceed. All right, so Diddy, this could be a bad thing and a good thing from my understanding. Well, I ain't even gonna say good thing, maybe good thing, depending on Diddy's lawyer. So this is the bad stuff. All right, the fact that the court, they're doing the trial, right? The jury, no matter who they pick, they've seen that Cassie video. They've seen when that Cassie video got released. What was that in 23? In 2023, months before they locked Diddy up and stuff like that, it showed that Diddy was pounding on Cassie. Like, I'm talking about ripped her apart, beat her up to a pulp. It was ridiculous. I hate seeing that video, but they released it. All right. Now the jury is supposed to have no judgment when they go in there. They're supposed to get the case and deliberate and stuff like that. But everybody, the whole world has seen that video. So the fact, if you're having Cassie testifying against this man in court, how are the jurors going to look at that? That's going to be like, oh, okay, that's one of the victims right there. So that's going to be a really bad look for Diddy. See, this changes the game, or it could change the game when it comes to that, because she was on that video. And even though that video is not what he's on trial for, or what he's getting in trouble for, or any of the charges, in the picture in your head, if you seen Cassie get her ass whooped by this dude, when you're testifying, when you're in court as a juror, all you can see is that. So that might be like, okay, yeah, I don't care what happens to that dude. I don't care if he's innocent or not in the racketeering or the sex trafficking or whatever. He's an abuser, so he should be in jail. So that's not a good look for her to testify against him. Now, this is the flip side to that. From my understanding, this is just an observation that some people have. So Cassie participated in that lawsuit that she had, when she did the lawsuit against Diddy, when she was suing him, right? It showed that she participated in a lot of the stuff that was going on. A lot of people were talking about the sex trafficking thing. She stayed with him for years. During all that stuff. So what could Diddy's lawyer do? We could be like, well, she participated in a lot of this stuff, so her word may not hold a lot of weight. She participated in it. When he was doing all the cucking and all that other stuff, I mean, if he has a good lawyer, they could go against that and be like, well, she participated in a lot of this stuff. So it could kind of work in Diddy's favor when you think about it. But I'm thinking more so on the bad side. Once I heard about that, I said, uh-oh, that's not a good look. That's not a good look for Diddy, man. So I don't know how this is going to pan out. Again, this could be in Diddy's favor or not in Diddy's favor. We'll just have to see for real. But we'll just have to see, man. So y'all let me know in the comments what you think about Cassie testifying against Diddy. All right. So this is the last thing we're going to cover. I didn't want to keep you on here for too long. All right. So let's talk about this Carmelo Anthony situation. So for those who don't know, I believe he's 17 years old, Carmelo Anthony. And at first, when I kept hearing Carmelo Anthony, I'm like, are they talking about the former NBA player? But no, this is a teenager in Texas that it got charged for first-degree murder for murdering another teenager. Now, Carmelo Anthony is black, and the victim who got murdered is white. Now, the victim's name is what's this dude's name? And I'm sorry for and this was in Frisco student athlete. So Austin Metcalf. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. So what happened was allegedly, um, they were at a track meet, and Austin came up and told Carmelo he needs to move. And this is all allegedly. This is just from what I've been seeing. He told him to move, right? I don't know how it escalated to that, but from my understanding, Carmelo told the boy, hey, leave me alone. Come over here again or touch me again and see what happens. He reached in his bag, got a knife, and the boy still approached him and he stabbed him, I think once or twice, and the boy bled to death and died. All right. Now, this has sent social media, it's all been on Twitter and stuff like that, into a frenzy. Now, some people are speculating that this is layered in racism, because if somebody comes and tells you to get up, I don't know what transpired before then, but if somebody tells me this is what I say. First off, this isn't first-degree murder. I saw where people talking about this first-degree murder. This isn't first-degree murder. First-degree murder means that this was premeditated. You knew that you were going to kill somebody. From when you left the house, you had it planned out that you were going to kill somebody. All right. How is it first-degree murder if I'm getting harassed by somebody and I'm telling them to leave me alone, and then I warn them, because from my understanding, Carmelo warned the boy to stay away and see what happens if you don't stay away. And Austin, unfortunately, went over there and his life got ended. Now, I'm not vouching for the murder of Austin whatsoever, but I am on the side of the law, equal protection under the law. And to me, from what I've seen and what I've read, ladies and gentlemen, that is what you call self-defense, standing your ground. Okay. If I'm somewhere and I'm getting harassed by somebody and I'm armed, and if I'm feeling like my life is threatened, I'm telling them, hey man, leave me alone, please. If you come over here again, I'm warning you, something bad is gonna happen. And that person says, F you. I'm finna, and then they run up on me, and then I pull out my gun or pull out a knife. Hey, it is stand your ground if I feel threatened. Now, of course, the media and everybody, like, the white media, they're having a panic, saying, oh my God, this is murder and he should get first-degree murder and all this other stuff. No, that's an innocent black child. That was an innocent black child at a track meet. And I'm not saying he should have killed the boy, but I want to know more of the specifics on exactly what happened, but it's self-defense. And he said he didn't try to run anywhere. It was unfortunate, of course, that Austin lost his life. From my understanding, he was a twin. But this happened because Austin went and bothered Carmelo. But the thing is that the white media and the racists, some of them, because this is allegedly rooted in racism. It could have been on some suspected white supremacist stuff, but the white media and white people and racists, when stuff like this happens to black people, it's not self-defense. Like when this happened to George Zimmerman, what did they say? Trayvon Martin was in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. Not that he was defending himself against George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, it was stand your ground, and he defended himself. All right. With Kyle Rittenhouse, when he went out and shot those people, what did they try to say? Self-defense. He was defending himself. Okay. So if I'm black, how come the same energy isn't reciprocated to me? How come if I use self-defense, it's just murder? We're not having that. And I'm going to show you an example of what somebody said on Facebook that really struck out to me today. So it says, to put in context, Roy Oliver, the former Balch Springs police officer who murdered 15-year-old Jordan Edwards in 2017, was released on a $300,000 bond and remained free for over a year before his conviction. Amber Geiger, who fatally shot Botham John in his own apartment in 2018, was also released on $300,000 bond. Aaron Dean, who shot and killed Atiana Jefferson in her home in 2019, was granted a $200,000 bond prior to the trial. And it says Carmelo Anthony is a 17-year-old child. He has no criminal history, no disciplinary record. In fact, quite the opposite. He is a documented hero. At just 14 years old, he saved another teenager from drowning in Baton Rouge and was recognized in the local press for his coverage. All right. So exactly, it says $1 million bond greater than those set for sworn law enforcement officers accused of unjustified killings raises serious questions about proportionality, equity, and the consistent application of justice. At minimum, this bond should be revisited. So yeah, he got $1 million bond. $1 million bond. Y'all know how ridiculous that is for that? $1 million bond. Uh-oh. I'm playing myself right there. Hold on. My bad, y'all. My bad. But yeah, $1 million bond, man. $1 million bond for that. So my thing is this: it's that it's not equal protection under the law when you look at it. Oh, let me exit out of that. So it's not equal protection when you look at that. All right. Because when you had, like I said, George Zimmerman, it's countless people. When it comes to white people, and we're calling it out tonight, when it comes to them, I bet you if the roles were reversed and it was the white kid, if he ended up killing Carmelo, do you think the media and everybody would just be calling him a murderer? And why did he have a knife and all this other stuff? No, they would say, they would dig into his background, find out if he was a damn lifeguard or if he was a Boy Scout or whatever it was. They would say that he is innocent and he was standing his ground. But when it comes to us, oh no, murder. Why did he have a knife? Why did he have to kill him? Why did he have to do all this other stuff? No, it's called standing my ground and having equal protection under the law. So right now, the racist white supremacists, oh, they are mad. The racists are mad. I want to know why? Because the black community is standing in support of Carmelo Anthony. That's right. There's a bond. I'm sorry, not a bond, but a GoFundMe out right now. There's a GoFundMe out right now that's supported by the black community that's raised over $200,000. And I think this will be the money for his legal defense. So $200,000 has been raised, and I'm glad to see this because guess what? When Darren Wilson killed Mike Brown, that dude got $1 million. When Derek Chauvin, when he killed George Floyd, didn't he get like $1 million? It was GoFundMe's from everybody. So what this is that the black community, specifically foundational black Americans, we're coming together and saying, no, hell no. Y'all not about to lynch this kid because he was defending himself, because that could have been my son, your son. That could have been you, me, because it didn't have to happen just at a track meet. This is somebody, you could be walking in a mall and somebody is harassing you. And then they're saying, you know, they're messing with you and you're warning them. If I give you a warning and I tell you to back up and you still come my way, I'm threatened. My life is in danger. I always say this, you never know what somebody's going to do. Now, it's unfortunate. Again, I'm going to reiterate, you know, I'm not approving of the murder. I wish that they just had a fight, if anything, and they duked it out. It was a fist fight, whatever. I wish that Carmelo didn't have a knife on him and stabbed him, but I also don't know the situation. And you have to be safe out here. But if you're telling me to get up and I'm telling you, you know, nah, like I ain't finna move. Why did you have to be forceful and try to tell somebody to get up? Did the white kid own the bleachers? Did he own the place that they were at? Did he own the field? No. This isn't 1960s. You know what I'm saying? The 1950s and stuff where we had to sit on the back of the bus or whatever. Like, hey, boy, get up, give up your seat. Hell nah. So you stand your ground. If I'm at the only way I should be removed from my seat is if I'm at a concert, I'm at a wrestling event, whatever the event, and I paid for a certain ticket to sit in a certain seat, and I'm not in my certain seat, and then security comes and moves me up. That's what security is for. But you can't you're not supposed to put your hands on me saying, hey, get up. You go get help, get security, call the cops, whatever the case may be. So nah, he's innocent in this situation. If the story is reported, now he has to go to trial and everything like that. But first degree murder, hell nah. First degree murder means that you planned on, you woke up in the morning and planned on killing that man. That's what it is. Like they said that they were rival schools and they knew each other. That would have to be a thing to where they had ongoing conflict and he figured that this would be the day to do it. Something like that, right? But you know, I mean, I'm quite sure something's going to happen with him. That's why we need great legal teams in this situation. We need great legal teams. So the GoFundMe, I got to find it so I can contribute to it too, because I want to see him get justice. If the story is correct as what they're saying that it is, then I'm riding with this all the way. You know what I'm saying? But it sounds like self-defense to me. But it only works when it is the white on the white side. But when it's us, it's no, you didn't have to do that and all this other stuff. So nah, we ain't putting up with that. I stand with Carmelo Anthony, and I stand with the side of the law. And it is constitutional to protect yourself. And we're supposed to have equal protection under the law. Period. Standing your ground. Nobody's supposed to be putting their hands on you. And especially if you're warning somebody, if I'm warning you and then you still come and try to bother me, hey man, self-defense. But they only want to make it work when it comes to white. If the roles were reversed, and this is Carmelo Anthony that got stabbed, if he got stabbed in his chest and he bled to death, do you think that white folks, the racists, and the white media, do you think that they will be saying, oh, innocent black child got killed? Not even just an innocent black child, just an innocent child. Because the thing is, they look at black boys as grown men. They look at black girls as grown women. That's what they look at. That's why they try to sexualize us so much. You know, they sexualize young girls, and then they make, you know, a 12-year-old boy. They looked at Trayvon Martin as a grown man. George Zimmerman against a grown man wrestling on the ground. That's what they look at it like. So no, we ain't having that. We ain't having that. But anyway, man, I didn't want to keep y'all in here for long. Had to talk about the Carmelo Anthony situation and the Keri Hilson and all that other stuff. So we covered quite a few things, man. But we'll be making more content later. Make sure that you look out for the latest podcast with me and CJ. It is called Who Gave You a Podcast? We're going to be filming our first show possibly this weekend. So y'all be on the lookout for that. We might, if we do it this weekend, we'll drop it next week. But you'll see. Keep it locked. You'll see us for sure. I'm very, very excited about that. Thank you, everybody, for tapping in. And for my future people, future listeners, and future viewers, you'll tap in a little later. But we had a great time tonight. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com/RedsView. And I will see y'all on the next episode of Reds View. Peace.